Hello everyone and welcome to the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park here for our Canada trip to start the chase for the Crown Royal Truck Series Championship. We're here at Mosport for the running of the Castrol 200. While at the Castrol 200, we almost had a pole from the Castrol truck with Riley Spurleytube. He rolls off second to Tib Foster, the King of Canada. He has won a race at Mosport the last 3 years. 2 truck wins in the last 2 years. Before last season, where he missed out on a truck race win, but got the cup race win in his bag. So he's looking for his 4th straight Mosport weekend with a race victory. Let's see if he can do it today from pole for SBR. Riley Spurleytube's the highest running chase contender in this field right now. He rolls off second, though he sits 20 points behind Matthew Eves, who had a walk-off win at Chicagoland to further cement his 40 bonus points heading into the chase compared to Riley Spurleytube's 20. He rolls off in second. But look at the underdogs up here in Preston Emmons, part-timer for TRD, and Tony Wallen, part-timer for RER. Both of them rolling off in the top 4, with Zach Rogers and Vince Freeze row 3. On Jack and your second of the chase contenders, Antoine Smith, he rolls off 8th. Larry Hagan 9th, and Jose Perez, another chase contender, in 10th. The rest of your chase contenders go Matthew Eves in 12th. He's the points leader heading into this. Alex Peters rolling off 14th. Daniel Kobza rolling off 15th for the 44 team. Looking the rest of the way down, Stephen Wallace Jr. rolls off this race in 24th. Ryan Butcher in 25th, taking that final wildcard spot. Eric Monaco rolls off 28th, deep in the field for that number 2 truck. Austin Johnson, who pointed his way in, rolls off in the 31st position. And that is the rest of it, with some of the slower back markers at the back, that we do have 40 trucks in this field. We're going to go ahead, get ready to go down trackside for the commands here to fire the engines of the Castrol 200 at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ready and rolling here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It's going to be a 21-lap race today. Of course, fuel window, much less than that. I believe it's around 8 to 9 laps in these trucks. As always, you can tell the chase contenders by some significant features on these trucks. This year, the NSDCA expanded it a little bit, so there's purple pretty much all around the trucks that you might be able to see. You got a purple front splitter on most of the trucks. There you see on that 28. You got a purple rear spoiler, a purple rear banner, and purple side skirts new for this year. So it is very easy to tell who your 10 championship contenders are for the drivers on the track and for the spectators around the track and at home on TV. That doesn't mean that these guys are going to race these 10 chase contenders any different than they have been all season. Guys like Vince Freeze, Tony Wallen, Preston Emmons, Tib Foster, Rogers, Onjak, Hagan, some of those guys missed out on making the chase. They still got a chance to take a race win before this season ends. And you also got the part-timers there, the 71 and 24. They're just looking to come out here, have a great day on the road course. This could be their big race run of the season. At the back, you see Maxwell Fye, Benedict Mirdo, those two together. Charles Sanford, Dusty Neal as well. But it's going to be an uphill battle for Austin Johnson, Eric Monaco, Ryan Butcher, Stephen Wallace Jr., and many more as we get ready to go racing. But it's still scary for some of those guys up front, like Eves, Spurleytube, Peters, who had some bigger amounts of bonus points heading into this weekend. Mosport has been known to be a great equalizer heading into the chase. We've seen countless times the regular season points leader leaving this race in the wall, torn up, and not leading the points. So for Matthew Eves, who rolls off 12th, it's going to be a stressful time for him, being about at the front of the mid-pack. While Riley Spurleytube, he's just going to have to hope to possibly tuck in behind Foster or beat him into turn 1 to try to get those spots ahead of him and try to win this race. Set his championship hopes set. 40 drivers, 21 laps at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, a fan-favorite venue in Canada. This is our one international date of the season for both the Trucks and Cup Series. Sure to be an exciting event. 21 laps, 40 drivers as they round out of the final corner. Spurleytube versus Foster up front, green flags in the air, and we are racing at CTMP. As we said, it'd be key for Spurlitube to tuck right in behind Foster on these opening laps, but now he is all over the back of that 82 coming down the long sweeping corners. These first few corners are definitely long sweeping, uphill, downhill for both of them. But then you have another tighter corner down here into an uphill section. You get down into what is probably the best passing opportunity on the track, which are these two corners down here on this sweeping downhill section, which also could see some high-speed incidents as we come down through here. And as they come up through the first time, you see Spurlitube just looking for anywhere he can on Foster, and they're pretty much going to follow each other through that corner. But you see Emmons already getting attacked by Rogers. You see Freeze goes wide, is going to lose a couple spots, and then up the Andretti straight, the fastest part of the track. This is the only part you're really running full throttle in, down this long sweeping back straightaway through the woods here at Mosport. And as they come down into the final few corners, another good passing opportunity down here into these switchbacks and the S's to finish off the final three corners of this track. One lap will be in the books, though, and it looks like for now we will be green. Maybe not so clean, but it is Tib Foster for SBR, the Ally 82 out in front right now as they go across the line. Spurlitube second, Tony Wallen clear into third, Zach Rogers fourth, Preston Emmons in fifth. Antoine Smith up to eighth. Eves already moving his way up to ninth. Has made his pass on Jose Perez. Just got by Vince Freeze. So now he sets his sights on his probably two biggest championship rivals for the chase here in Antoine Smith and Riley Spurlitube further up the road there. Those two trucks are bad fast. They're going to be getting a lot of help into this chase run, trying to get them into title fight against the 48. Eves trying to show that he just needed some good equipment behind him to go out there and possibly win a title. And even though he's not a road course guy, still top 10 for the 48 truck after the opening lap. You see Jose Perez back there. There's Francois Chastain. He made his debut here, I think, a year or two ago. I know he ended up 40th after his debut out here in Canada in front of some of the home crowd for that 01 driver. Daniel Cobbs, Alex Peters going at it a bit further back. Those two, that's championship rivals right there. Cobbs entered this with a 8th place in the point standings, giving him 3 bonus points. Alex Peters was just a bit further ahead, but does have those extra 10 bonus points for his 2 wins in the regular season. That puts Alex Peters 3rd seed in the chase, while Daniel Cobbs down in 8th. There's Aiden Smith, was real close. He's going to get real close to Alex Peters there, but Aiden Smith was real close to donning the purple banner and spoiler and coming into the chase, fighting these guys as well. Ryan Butcher fell out with a DNF in the second Chicagoland race. Cost him a wild card spot as we are under caution for the first time today, and that is 2 trucks hard in the wall. That's Benedict Mirdo III and Dylan Young, and I think that the leaders are going to be able to race back around. You see Emmons and Onjak going at it. You see, look at Antoine Smith and Eves going at it. Eves is Smith's boss over there at SBR, but Eves still fighting for the title, so these two know, or well, at least Eves knows the weaknesses on that 00 truck, might be able to exploit him as he's racing around here, but it looks like only the top 10 or so will be racing back. Everyone else further back taking their time, but it has been all Tib Foster out in front for these opening laps as they work their way through the sharper corner back there. Hagen's going to get the jump as Emmons has really been dropping. Antoine's going to lose some time there, but we got 2 drag races coming up the Andretti straight here, and that is Larry Hagen going after Preston Emmons side by side. As you see Eves now getting by Antoine, Freeze getting by him as well. Hagen now is going to try to clear Emmons coming up the hill, and that he will, as Emmons is going to fight back as these guys are racing back to the caution flag. It will be Tib Foster, though, in the SBR 82 leading them back around over Spurlitube, Wallen, Rogers, and Peter Onjak. Onjak was also close to fighting for the chase here as Hagen really swung it wide there, almost into the wall. That is a scary part of the track. Coming off a turn the final corner. I don't know how many corners are here at Mosport, but coming off that final corner, you swing it too wide, you could end up back in the path of someone and end up into the outside wall, or the inside wall, and going through our special ghost wall here at Mosport down the front straightaway. But it is Tib Foster out in front, Spurlitube, Wallen, Rogers, and Onjak, your top 5. It's a long pace lap, so we will go ahead, take a quick replay of the caution, and then bring you back for pit stops, if there will be any, here at the Castrol 200. First into the day, Dylan Young, Benedict Mirdo. It's just going to be a problem with those last few corners. They hooked together. Big hit to both of them into the tire barriers. Their days are done. The 61 and 90 crashed out early on. Coming through the final couple corners here at Mosport, we're getting ready to see if we will have pit stops. It looks like we will indeed have some takers coming on in. So it will be Foster leading them down. We'll see if anyone does indeed stay out, but it should be. I think at this point you've ran 4 laps, now 5 laps on these tires. Couple weren't at speed for some of them, but I'd say 4 tires and fuel would probably be the key here. Pits Road has been tricky at Mosport in the past, and we are going to see the full field coming on down to take those tires. So we'll see how easily or hard these guys get out of pit road. Road course pit stops are always very tricky. No matter how you slice it, especially with a backwards pit road here. And it's going to be 2 tires, looks like, for all of the top 5. They all come out in unison on those tires. So it looks like might have been 2 tires for a majority of the field. A couple 4s, maybe in the 00 and 25. They're going to lose some track position as the field cycles back out. We'll get you guys back to the action here at the Castrol 200 right after this. Going back to you here at the Castrol 200 as lights on the pace truck go out. Tib Foster, your race leader, over Riley Spurley-Tube, Tony Wallen, Zach Rogers, Peter Onjak. Francois Chastain moves to 6th, Matthew Eves up to 7th, Emmons to 8th, Jesse Turner 9th, Vince Freeze rounds out your top 10. It was 2 tires for everyone, so it's just a slow pit stop on the 00 and 25. A couple guys seem to have some front end damage from a possible issue lining up. So we'll see if that damage will affect anyone. And Eric Monaco right now 31st in that number 4. I think might have lost a bit more because Maxwell Fay would be 38th, so I think he's about 33rd. Also to point out, Logan Bradley in the 57 has announced his retirement from the NSDCA. He will not be returning next year, so this will be his swan song season in that number 57 before he retires from full-time competition. Of course, Logan Bradley, a Crown Royal 300 champion. I believe that is his only NSDCA victory, if I'm not mistaken. So still a fantastic career for him. Had some great wins, a great win, and great racing. Sorry to see him go. Yet another from the early days taking their leave. But a couple guys from the early days up front. Tib Foster, Riley Spurley-Tube, 2 Season 2 NSDCA debutants, leading a guy who has only been here for 2 years. And Tony Wallen doesn't have truck starts, many truck or cup starts. He has a handful of them, and he's been really outperforming in these higher series. We're going to go ahead and go back racing, but what we want to watch is this corner right here, because it can be tricky when you restart. Look at everyone going into the grass and swinging on around, just making sure we don't see any incidents. We do not, and we are back racing here at Mosport. We are under green. I just want to make sure, and we are. So that is good. As the top 6 or so get single filed out, Emmons already making a move on Jesse Turner to take that spot there. Someone kicking up dirt a little further up. Francois Chastain, Tony Wallen, and Preston Emmons, all 3 of them in the top 10. Some road course guys trying to put themselves into some big situations. As Tib Foster, the king of road courses, the king of Canada, leading this race is Rogers with a big dive to the outside of Wallen and is going to clear him before the double. That is a right-hander. But that is going to be real close for him, and I think Wallen's going to get him back, heading up the Andretti straight as Eves all the way out onto the grass. That's going to hold a lot of people up as Turner's going to make the jump. Alex Peters was like 20th earlier in this race. Those pit calls have moved him up. A great pit stop by his crew, and it's going to bring him right up to Eves. There's Emmons and Freeze going by him, or he's going by Emmons and Freeze, so he's going to gain a ton of time as Onjak's getting attacked by Francois Chastain, who's trying to move that 01 into the 5th position, and that's what he will do. A lot of these corners are very tricky here at Mosport, especially to go too wide through and swing it on around. We'll make sure on these at least restarts that we check and make sure everyone's all right. As now Tony Wallen's going after Riley Spurley-Tube, a chase contender. And Spurley-Tube, you see there, he wasn't going to fight it on the outside. He's going to let Wallen by and going to tuck himself back into line there in that 28 truck, the Castrol 28. Let's see if he can win for the sponsor race here. Castrol 200. Course in the truck series, but now Texas Star Racing Zach Rogers going to make a move on Spurley-Tube right to the inside, trying to help his teammate Eves not lose as many points if that's how it's going to be. But Wallen real slow coming off the corner. We'll see if Spurley-Tube has some Zach Rogers magic in him, shooting to the outside of Wallen, trying to make this one stick, but I don't think he's going to clear him in time. You really got to tuck in before you hit these corners, and there they go. And Spurley-Tube will lose that position as Wallen takes it right back, but he gets a decent exit on that 24. Now Rogers under attack from Francois Chastain, who is having the run of his life right now for this BGM 01. A fantastic drive for him. Started this race 11th. He's in the top 5, looking for 4th on Zach Rogers. Both of these guys pretty good at the road courses themselves. Eves or not Eves. Yeah, well, Eves is the 48 and Alex Peters in the 45 was who I was looking at as those two. Might have been some contact there between them as Peters now backs out just a little bit as he's not giving Eves any room, though, as they come off the corner. Still going side by side into the final corner, and you can battle a very long way around this track. We'll see if Peters gets any bite on the exit, though. Not going to happen. 8 of 21 complete, but there he goes. He's going to have to concede. Turn 1, really a single groove corner there. There's Antoine Smith, Ryan Butcher moving their way through the mid-pack. Austin Johnson. Jose Perez has dropped like a rock, but you got to remember he's still nursing an injury from Chicagoland. Now, he's had a few weeks to rest it, so he is very healthy in terms of racing, but, he's still probably sore, still trying to get it done, and it's on a road course, the toughest thing to do when you are injured or driving less than 100%, because you need 100% to make sure that you're hitting your marks right and hitting everything right, and this 35 is not. He's already out to the 19th position there, possibly dropping a little bit more as this race progresses. There's Alex Fletcher. He was close to making it into the chase as well. If that late caution with him crashing didn't happen, he might have won Chicagoland on fuel. Stephen Walls Jr., Daniel Kobza, Eric Monaco all at the back, so some Dodges back here struggling in the chase hunt. There's Fitzwater, the site of his one and only NSDCA victory. Came here for Angiato back in Season 1. Now he's for FPR, a long gap away from the Angiato team. As Gatlin Downey was on pit road. Might have been a change in stop as Tony Wallen is all over Tib Foster up front. Spurley, Tube, and Rogers going at it side by side into turn 1. But as we look through the field, Tony Wallen has driven up on the King of Canada, Tib Foster, and he is not afraid of the royalty up here because he is chasing him down. And what would it mean for Tony Wallen to get a victory? You see Foster went a little off track there, kicked up some dirt, but Tony Wallen for RER could be in a chance to make an upset here if he can get a run on Foster and try to make that move. As Spurley clear into third, Rogers now trying to hang on over Francois Chastain. Francois, a lot of people are making some outside moves coming down this corner. I really don't know if that'd be what I'd want to do, because when you come into here, that outside is just going to kill you. Coming on off the corner, no matter what, you're going to lose time in the spot probably. That's what he's going to lose to Rogers there. See Eves trying to get back at Freeze. All the way back, there's Antoine Smith and Butcher. They're going to fighting back there. Larry Hagan in the 25 has slipped back a ton as well. Foster has pulled away now from Tony Wallen, but that 24 truck, don't count him out as this race goes on. This could be a big day for the Books a Million number 24 as Foster is out in front. He's enjoying it. He's led every lap so far, and that's similar to his teammate for this race. Aiden Smith led all 21 laps at Watkins Glen to go win. We'll see if Tib can match that as well, because there's 21 laps here. He's led all 10 so far. Spurley Tube still being hunted by Zach Rogers. Good thing for Zach, though. He's racing him clean. There hasn't been too much contact. Both of these guys still running top 5. And Jesse Turner missed out on the chase. He won the Crown Royal 300 to start the season. And Vince Freeze, of course, followed him through. And it's shocking to think that both of those race winners are not in the fight for the chase. We haven't had too many races, too many truck seasons where wild card winners or drivers who have had wild card wins that could qualify have missed out. We had them last year with Irving Allison missing the chase. Now we have Turner and Freeze both missing the chase, and Aiden Smith. So it's been a topsy-turvy season for the trucks this year. You see Spurley Tube, almost Rogers had a move on him, but not going to happen. And you see how weak that outside line is coming through that corner and how strong it is on the inside. You see Wallen going defensive there, trying to hold off Spurley Tube as Riley is bringing the heat right up to the back of the 24. Down the Andretti straight. Foster still pulling away, but Spurley Tube now all over the back of Wallen. He's going to look for a move there. Don't get too aggressive, Riley, because you don't want to end up in the wall anywhere, because this is a dangerous part of the course to do so. Riley's really going to have to check up to avoid that pit wall there. And that's a very, road courses don't have very safe pit entrances now that I take a look at it. But Spurley Tube was fighting Wallen there. He's still not giving up, though, down into turn 1. They're still going at it for this second position as they run. Freeze and Onjak have been fighting. Peters and Eves have been fighting just inside the top 10. Emmons looking for a top 10. There's Matthew Brown as well. Give it shout out. Let's take a look at Mac Johnson here. 14th for MJM. This 07 truck has not had many starts this year. They've had a lot of attempts, but not many races run for Mac Johnson Motorsports. And he's right now inside the top 15, fighting some road course winners. And Ryan Butcher, Aiden Smith, they've both won Watkins Glen before. So Mac having a nice time here,
Dylan
just
Young,
inside the top
Benedict
20
Mirdo.
as
It's
the
just gonna be a
championship contender Jose
problem with
Perez
those last
behind
few
him. You don't want
corners.
to
They
screw
hook
that
together,
up.
big
But
hit to
Christian
both of
Vargas
them into the
doesn't care.
tire
He's going
barriers.
after Perez
Their
for
days
that
are done. The
16th
61
position
and
on
90
track.
crashed out.
See Hagen,
early on.
Sladek, Fletcher fighting further back. But a great run by the Insure number 07 right now for Mac Johnson. I think it's the first time that scheme's been running because he's only made the patriotic race that we ran, the dirt race, in the Insure paint scheme. Alex Peters going after Peter Onjak, Matthew Eves in this fight. These are big contenders here. Onjak just missed out on the chase. He is still fighting hard as Spurley Tube's fighting back with Wallen. That's a little bit of contact there between those two. As Spurley's still trying to make something happen and just cannot when he gets up there. So I don't know if Wallen's defending well or the 28 just doesn't have the momentum on the inside. But that's brought Zach Rogers back into this fight as Turner and Freeze now. Freeze is going to pick up another spot on Jesse Turner. So this 60 truck is moving through the field. But it is all Tib Foster out in front. 82, the 82 truck out in front after 12 laps. We're going to go ahead, take a very quick commercial break, bring guys back to the action here at Mosport right after this. Back live here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and something we didn't catch on the live broadcast, Antoine Smith coming through the corner just before this downhill one actually went off the track and got into the tire barrier. So now Antoine is fighting an uphill battle, has 8 laps left, came down pit road and repaired it, so he didn't fall a lap down. But right now, he's going to have to hope that he has enough fuel to make it to the end. It could be an undercut, but it also could be really screwing up the day for that double zero. As Tip Foster really screws up that corner, dips both wheels onto the grass, and he's going to take that as Francois Chastain. Freeze was on the move, passed about 4 trucks during this stint, but now it looks like he's going to lose a spot to Francois. But Foster had a very big advantage. Now that's going to get cut down as Wallen's going to be able to wheel him back in. And the 77 truck, I didn't even realize Austin Johnson is out of this race. So we'll get a replay of that on your screen as well. So that is 2 chase contenders damaged up here. And Antoine came into this, he's 25 points behind Eves, came into this with 15 bonus points. Now he had 1 race win and ended up 3rd with 10 bonus points. Austin Johnson, though, came into this with pretty much nothing except his 7th place in the regular season standings, which gave him 4 bonus points. He entered this 36 back from Matthew Eves, so that is probably going to throw Austin Johnson now into a Hail Mary scenario, just like it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was Johnson and Lane both in the chase last year for Monster when they drove. But Foster lost a ton of time there, going wide down here in the double-hander before the Andretti straight, but now he's lost a ton of time as Wallen and Spurley Tube can see that Sharpie on the back of the 82 again as they come on through. Zach Rogers clear into 4th. 5th is Francois Chastain. A fantastic drive for the 01 today. Turner up to 6th, Freeze 7th. So these 3 right here, again, all barely missed out on the chase. Onjak missed out on points. The other 2 missed out on the wild card. They're not given an inch anyway. They want to race, and they want to show that they could have been championship contenders this year, and they want that momentum next year as well. Eves has been fighting Peters and Emmons this entire time as Butcher's now reeled him in. Aiden Smith's picking up some spots. There's Perez. Kobza hasn't done much. Neither has Eric Monaco, Stephen Wallace Jr., so Anjato CFRO still struggling back there as we got a fight for the top spot. 4 trucks under a blanket as Foster's going to lose the lead to Tony Wallen. The first laps he will not lead all day. Rogers, Spurley Tuber here. We got 4 cars under a blanket up in front as now Zach Rogers in the 9 all over the back of Foster coming up the hill and down the hill. Foster's back to 2nd. Hasn't had his truck in traffic all race long. And Zach Rogers is all over the back of that SBR 83. For 3 of these guys, or for 2 of these guys, Wallen and Rogers have never won an NSDCA National Series event. Wallen has won DPDS or Molson Modified races. Rogers has not even won those. So these 2 are fighting hard. Foster just wants to get the win for himself. He wants to win in Canada again, keep that streak going, just in case tomorrow doesn't work out as well. And whoa, real close for Rogers there, almost into Foster. Spurley Tube's going to push Rogers real wide, and that's going to compromise Spurley's run off the corner. Is going to lose him a ton of time. And we got 4 trucks under a blanket up front. But don't forget, these guys pit around lap 5. I know for a fact you can't make 16 laps on a fuel window. I think 12 or 13 maybe, but definitely not 16. So now we're going to be seeing these guys fighting in to possibly green flag pit stops here shortly. But it's Tony Wallen now for Rockstar Energy Racing out in front. And I want to point out RER's only race victory in the top 3 series has come with a part-time driver and a part-time truck. That being Priya McShane at Chicagoland last season in the part-time 19. I think it was full-time, but with multiple drivers. And Tony Wallen right now full-time with multiple drivers in that 24 as he's behind the wheel. He's taking the lead away as Rogers is looking for anything to get around Foster. I think that 82 truck might just be slacking on those old tires. And Tibb is known as an aggressive racer. Once he loses some track position, he really pushes that car to try to get it going back towards the front. And that could cost him here as you're going to have to baby these trucks around. But you know, there's going to be 5 to go. If you're pitting, do you just forego tires and hope that you just fuel it up and make it to the end? That could be an interesting strategy that could throw anyone up here. Sperlitube's going to try again to go after Zach Rogers. See that trio behind him, Francois Chastain with Freeze and Onjak side by side up the Andretti straight as they go, as Tony Wallen has checked out to a bit of a lead. Foster now getting some breathing room over Sperlitube and Rogers as they're going to come up the hill. And coming around, we got 5 laps to go this time by at the road course. As Rogers sends it in, he's trying to stay out there, trying to stay ahead of Sperlitube as they come on through. And Riley is very weak somehow through these final few corners. Just cannot get a pass done there. Wallen was able to on Foster, but Sperlitube really fights. He's better in turn 1 on making moves. And Tony Wallen's going to blow up from the race lead. That is absolutely heartbreaking for Rockstar Energy Racing, and with how slow that truck's going, I think he's going to call a caution. Onjak is trying to get out of there. Eves now. Eves slides into the wall trying to get past the 24. That's going to cost Matthew Eves everything as everyone's trying to get by. Yellow flag is out as we have drivers on pit road. They might cycle to the race lead as Foster got it back. And chaos here as the 24 blows up, leaks some oil, stops on track, and championship points leader Matthew Eves is in it. And as we said, the points leader comes in and usually loses his entire group as we are there. But here we go, and we'll worry about this later as we got a race coming back to the line. Rogers now, Zach Rogers up the inside of Tibb Foster. Everything's popped off since we came back from commercial break. Drag race up the Andretti straight. Rogers trying to lead this one around. Fighting Tibb Foster is going to clear him. Will Tibb try to fight back in the 82? Rogers coming on through the final 2 corners, and pit road is closed. They cannot pit, so now they've got to coast and hope they have enough to make it back around. We will definitely be going racing probably with 3 or 2 to go, and Zach Rogers will be the driver leading us back to the caution. And everything just popped off right there at the same time. And we're looking, this could cycle the race lead over to the young Francois Chastain in the 01. Alex Peters could be second, Maxwell 5. I don't think that 22 or 19 pit yet. They've been far off the pace. Antoine Smith, this is good for him. He's still on the lead lap, gets to pit if he wants to. If not, he stays out and gets track position. But now this shakes this entire race on its head. Eves with damage. Tony Wallen could have been on his way to a win. Does not happen. Trucks were down pit road at the moment of caution. And one of those trucks, or let's take a look actually. For sure, Francois Chastain could take the race lead here. Should have fueled it up enough. That'll put Alex Peters and Ryan Butcher leading the chase group. Definitely these two are going to pit. They were way off the pace anyway. That also brings Stephen Wallace Jr. possibly into the top 10. Antoine Smith as well, depending on how they pit. So we're going to stay live here because now we have a lot to talk about. So a great 4-truck battle for the lead. Tony Wallen came out on top and then blew up. And then Rogers was able to get around Foster there, coming back to the line. So Rogers leads, but I don't think, because everyone's going to have to pit. If you stay out, you're running out. We're going to be right on the edge of a fuel window. About 15 laps, so I guess you could, but this shakes up everything. And the dominant foursome, pretty much, of the front group, with Wallen, Rogers, Sperlitube, Foster being pretty much the top 4 of this whole race. They're going to have to pit and restart probably 10th or 11th, so that's going to probably cost them race wins. Vince Freeze was moving through the field, though, in the 60. He's been passing trucks left and right. This could be good for him on a restart. This shakes everything up. Matthew Eves losing traction into the tire, into the wall. Shades of when it rained here a couple of years ago in the chase race on the last lap, and everyone ended up going off in turn 1 on slicks. As we come through the final few corners, the final switchback, is Onjak are we seeing a split strategy? We are. Zach Rogers believes he can make it to the end. So does Onjak, Smith, and Perez. So does Eves. There's no way. There's no way these guys could have saved enough fuel to continue on. But they can save under caution now. Foster, Spurley Tube come in. Vince Freeze, Preston Emmons, Matthew Brown, Jesse Turner, Alex Fletcher, McShane, Tommy Hurdsand. We haven't talked about him all day. The 32, Camden Luca. Forgot Luca was in this race. Dusty Neal, Maxwell Fye. So they all pit. So they top off on fuel. Should be able to make it to the end. Oh, heavy damage to Preston Emmons. I think coming on to pit road as Freeze is going to pick up 2 spots on Foster and Spurley Tube there. So that's definitely going to ruin their days. This shakes everything up. We have 1 truck a lap down. It's the 24, so he's out of this one. We're going to get a quick replay. Bring you guys back to the action here at Mosport right after this. The storybook closes on Tony Wallen on his way to possibly his first victory. The engine gives up on the 24, spewing oil all over turn 1. Drivers try their best to get by it, and many cars are going to go to the outside, but Matthew Eves hits a slick and ends up in the outside wall. That's going to kill his chase hopes for today. Under caution for the second time. Coming down the long sweeping hill. It's going to be a 2-lap dash to the race finish. Again, no green-white checkers left in the CRTS and NSDCA. They removed that rule at Chicagoland as the lights go out. This has turned this race from absolute amazement in the fight for the lead to chaos to who knows what's going to happen. Rogers Onjak, Smith Perez, Eves Hagen, Cobbs Patrick Smith, Eric Monaco, Zachary Fitzwater, Charles Sanford have not pit in this race since that caution way early on. Chastain, Peters, Butcher did come in. Downey has not. Vargas, Mac Johnson, Nicky Morris, Logan Bradley, Lane, the rest of these guys except Antoine Smith pit a couple laps ago. Smith pit a while ago, so now he has track position. And these guys back here all pit just on this most recent caution, but they are pretty much done for at this point with how this race is going to finish. I also don't know what Preston Emmons is doing there in the 71 when we come back to green. But it's going to be 2 laps to go. If any of these guys make it to the end, I will be in shock. If they run out, race is over because they'd probably stall on track. They can't make it up half these hills when you're running on fumes. They all stay out, though, and just like last year in the truck race, fuel strategy could be making a topsy-turvy race to the finish. Green flags in the air. We're racing as Smith and Monaco already make contact. One truck spinning around, and they spin on the restart. Are they still under green is the question. 3 wide back here. Logan Bradley is flying around the track trying to keep it on, trying to keep it up. 3 wide back there. We're still under green. 2 trucks hit pit road right there. So a bunch of chaos on this restart. We missed everything. But it looks like if these guys take it to the white flag, they end this race. We had multiple trucks flying around this track. Will any of these front guys have enough fuel to make it to the end? Zach Rogers out in front over Onjak and Smith. 2 of these guys have not won this year. Smith wants another race win. And through the corner, Rogers going to pull away. That's going to bring Perez right into this. So you got 4 chase contenders that stayed out, have not pit yet. If they run out of fuel, they're losing a ton of time. But Zach Rogers could be a lap away from his first race victory if he can make it back around just 1 more lap. And we'll see if he stays out, comes in. If he stays out, this might be his. Into the final 3 corners here at Mosport, coming to the white flag. Zach Rogers in the 9. He's bringing it on in. He's running out right at the end. So is Onjak, Perez, Aiden Smith, Larry Hagen. Hagen and Monaco stay out, but Alex Peters has the fuel to make it to the end. Larry Hagen's going to try to win this race for KGM, and this race has been thrown every which way. Eric Monaco from the back all day to second. And fuel strategy at the end is going to throw everything out the window. One truck's off. That's Stephen Wallace Jr. at the back. Fuel only for all these guys. A splash and go. Where's Tib Foster in all this? I think Tib's back here. He's going to miss out on this race win. But Christian Vargas is out too. Monaco now holding up Alex Peters. I don't think they took tires under green, but they have enough fuel to make it to the end as Monaco is holding up Alex Peters, Francois Chastain, Ryan Butcher, Nicky Morris, and Larry Hagan for KGM. Through the final two corners here, the sharp corner, Monaco, though, is going to get an exit as Chastain makes a move on Alex Peters. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end up the Andretti straight for the final time? KGM has never won a Truck Series race. They've had Carson Bowers in the truck. Highest finish being 4th for KGM. Hagan missed the chase after a wreck at Chicagoland. Coming through the final 3 corners. He's ahead of Monaco by a large margin. He hasn't won a truck race in his career, and coming to become the next triple threat winner and a maiden win for KGM, Larry Hagan is going to steal it at Mosport. Antoine Smith's going to get beaten to the line by Tib Foster. Spurley-Tube comes home right there. Maxwell Fye is going to bring the 22 home 16th. And Larry Hagan steals it, stays out. He and Monaco, the only two to make it to the end from pitting on lap 5. And KGM gets their first victory in the Truck Series. Larry Hagan, I'm 90% sure this is his first Truck Series win. He has a Mountain Dew Custom Series win and a Cup win, both for TSR. And he gets KGM their first truck win after a long time. You see Monaco's out of fuel. He's throwing it in the grass. He comes home second. He doesn't have to make it to the end there. Onjak will get out of the truck and push it himself because a strategy call goes off for him. Jesse Turner, it looks like he's also out of fuel. Zach Rogers ends up 17th. Perez at the back. Stephen Wallace Jr. was turned around. Eves is 31st after all of that. SWJ was turned around. Vargas had damage. We'll see what happened there. Francois Chastain comes home 3rd. A remarkable run all day by the 01 truck. And Hagan's now out of fuel. They're going to push it to the front straightaway. You already know Casey Mears is jumping out of that box and running for this truck with a gallon of gas to watch his team finally make it to victory lane in the Truck Series. And though it may come a week too late for Larry Hagan and KGM, this is still like a championship to him. A team that has been struggling to find speed in the Truck Series. They were top 15 in the points this year. And he comes home a race victor for KGM at the end of this one. And this shakes up so much in the points battle. Stephen Wallace Jr., 36th place. He entered this 9th seeded, tied with Butcher at the back. That's going to cost him big time in the points hunt. Monaco is probably going to be fighting near the points lead at that point. Spurley-Tube ends up 12th, though, so Spurley-Tube should be your points lead. No, Alex Peters will be the points leader coming out, with Spurley-Tube up there. Antoine, good for him. 11th after that issue earlier in the 00, sending himself off. Comes home top 15. Maxwell Fay plays strategy, gets the fuel, and makes it last. Finishes P16 for Simtech Racing Incorporated. Remarkable run in Canada. But Larry Hagan pulls the upset with the strategy and comes home with the race victory. A topsy-turvy finish to this race, dominated by 4 trucks. One of the lead trucks blows up. The rest of the 3 pit, except for Zach Rogers, but he pits later. And Larry Hagan, Eric Monaco stay out 18 laps, or 17 laps on fuel to take it to the end. A fantastic finish to this Mosport race. The points format, or the points race heading into the final 6 races of the chase, is going to change everything. A great race was had. Larry Hagan comes home with the victory. We thank you guys so much for watching the Castrol 200 here at Mosport. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.